Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. About me, I'm Sandeep Bhushan and my credentials are I have 8 years of teaching experience of civil services. I teach international relation, internal security and in-depth analysis of editorials and articles, which will be very useful for the prelims as well as mains examination, because editorials and articles covers the analytical data as well as the factual data. So it is imperative for the aspirants, for the civil services aspirant, to focus on the editorials and articles, which would give you a wide experience about the topic and also a better understanding about the articles and editorials, which would fetch you a good marks in the mains and also which would really make you that you can crack prelims 2020 at ease. And this video is in regards to how to crack prelims 2020. Prior to that, you have a notification that you need to subscribe for Let's Crack UPSC CSE, and once you get subscribed for this, you will have access to all the unlimited live and recorded courses. Not and you would also have the courses from the India's best educators. Not only that, you will have the benefits like daily live classes wherein you can chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts and also be part of the answer polls. You can also have the live test and quizzes wherein you can evaluate your preparation with your regular mock test and quizzes, and also you would get detailed analysis on your performance. You would also have the structured courses wherein all our courses are structured in line with UPSC exam syllabus, which would help you best prepare for it. You also have the unlimited access upon subscription of Unacademy. You would get access to all our live and recorded courses wherein you can watch from the mobile or from the laptop. You have the top educators at Unacademy. They are like Sudarshan Gurjar, Ayush Sanghi, Roman Saini, Mrunal Patel, Venkatesh Chaturvedi, Dr. Siddharth Arora, Shiv Prasad, and Jatin Verma, and many others. You also have the UPSC CSE, the courses. Those are polity, economy, UPSC CSE batch you have in regards to the history, geography, environment and ecology. Along with that, you have current affairs courses, optional courses, and science and technology. Also, along with all this, you have the governance, ethics, integrity, and aptitude, essay writing, practice and strategy, Indian society, about internal security, CSAT paper, social issues, and also in regards to the answer writing courses. And the most important is the interview preparation, wherein you will have one course in the UPSC Let's Crack UPSC CSE. And in regards to the subscription, that is UPSC CSE Let's Crack Civil Services subscription, you will have 12 months course and also you have 24 months course. For 12 months course, the original price is 40,000, but if you are using my code SBT10, then you will get additional 10% discount, and the amount from 40,000 you would be getting 10% discount, and it would be 36,000. And you have 24 months subscription wherein the original price is 48, and when you subscribe with my code, that is SBT10, then you would get additional 10% discount, and from the 48,000 you will have to pay after discounted price would be 43,200. So it is always recommended that you have to go ahead with the preparation for minimum 1 to 2 years, that is at least 12 to 24 months. A solid preparation will make you definitely a successful person. So thereby it's always recommended that you go ahead with the 24-month subscription, because for 24 months subscription the amount is 48,000 without discount, wherein this 48,000 is that you are paying the amount of 12 months, that is 40,000, plus the 1 month, that is 8,000. So 40,000 plus 8,000 is 48,000. So you are being benefited by subscribing 24 months, wherein you are paying just for what the amount you have subscribing for 12 months plus 1 month, you are getting it for 24 months. That means for 24 months you are actually paying for only 34 months and you are being given 24 months of subscription. And again, upon using my code SBD10, your amount, discounted amount, would be 43,200. So please make sure that you take the advantage of the discount and then go ahead with the subscription of 24 months immediately. And also you can make sure that your friends are also into that to take the maximum benefit. And then not only that, you would go, I mean, have access to my classes live and recorded, but also you can have live and access to the other educators also, with which are in regards to the various other subjects. So not waste time, go ahead with the subscription immediately with the 24 months. Now we will get in the topic, that is the Hindu, the in-depth analysis of editorials and articles of the Hindu newspaper. And the reason why we need to go ahead with the in-depth analysis is, as I said, it is very imperative that the in-depth analysis will make you more comfortable in the examination, that is the prelims and also in the mains. And you will also have a macro level approach, wherein while you're going with the micro level approach, you are also into the ambit of micro level approach. So you have the mains level and also the prelims levels preparation, wherein that this strategy will help you to be at ease in the examination for the prelims, and it would be very, what do you say, you will be comfortable by making sure that you will crack prelims 2020. Now we'll get into the topics to be discussed for the day. That is, you have the topic alleviating the distress, the terror attack, and the safeguard the vulnerable. So these are the three wherein you, I mean, I would be discussing, and you would also have the entire in-depth analysis which you would be equipped at the end of my session. And now first we'll get into the topic alleviating the distress. So this editorial is, the heading of the editorial is standing with the needy. So what the editor he is talking about is that there are needy people, and it is important that at the time of the, I mean, at this time, that is the kind of lockdown wherein the entire nation is experiencing and also abiding by it to larger extent. So there is a possibility that because of the lockdown, there would be many citizens who would be casual laborers or daily wages, where they could be part of the vulnerable sections, and they would be the employees working in the informal sectors. So these informal sectors, because of the national lockdown, it is very clear that many of the production units, manufacturing units have been shut down temporarily, at least for now. So when they have been shut down, it is very clear that they would be staying at home without any job and without income. So it is the need of the hour that the government is taking up for the lockdown, that is for the social, maintaining the social distancing to be effective, so that we can prevent the spread of virus, so that we can make sure that the transmission of the virus is cut. Yes, that is definitely a acceptable and a welcomed move, but at the same time there is something which will also affect, that is the economy, or the income of the individuals who are staying at home, who do not have any kind of other sources, wherein they are daily wages, wherein they do not have the income, and it would be miserable for them without the money and food, that is income and the essential commodities. So income and essential commodities to those vulnerable sections are to be provided by the government of India, and in that regards the finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman has gone ahead with the relief package, which is 1,70,000 crore. So the finance minister has come up with the relief package for the vulnerable section people, that is 1,70,000 crore, and this is in regards to the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. This package is through the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. Again, this is very important for you in the prelims point of view, for the prelims point of view, because probably UPSC may not focus the entire, what you say, elevating how the system, how the measure, I mean how the process has gone ahead, that in which way the vulnerable sections were getting the money or the essential commodities, but he would directly focus on the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, and this is the what is a first step to make sure that alleviating the distress. That means making sure that the distress is taken out, which is caused to the vulnerable sections, as I said, and this is because of the 21-day lockdown. This is because of the 21-day lockdown, which is imposed, as I said, because to make sure that the spread of coronavirus or SARS-CoV-2 will not spread virulent, and then we have to break the chain of transmission. For that, it is good, but it is also important that whatever distress these vulnerable sections would face and are also facing, and in the future for the next 19 days what they would face, that has to be taken care. And yes, it has been taken care by the government, and the finance ministry has come up with the 1,70,000 crores with the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, and this will alleviate, remove the distress, alleviate in the sense remove the distress from the or caused by the vulnerable sections. So we look at little bit of how this actually has gone ahead. 1,70,000 crores of relief package, how it will get into the various vulnerable section peoples. So it would target the sections of the vulnerable ranging from farmers, who would be farmers, and women. So this would go ahead with, or else it would cover the entire amount, would cover the vulnerables who are ranging from the, I mean they are belonging to the farmers and the women, that is they would get it from the Jandan account holders, or else they, who the vulnerables, what the government feels at this moment, the finance ministry are the one who are the farmers and women who are having the Jandan account holders. So the Jandan account holders who are farmers and women constitute the vulnerable at this moment, and those will be, what do you say, covered under the relief package, so that they will be out of the distress. So that the intention of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana PMGKY to alleviate the distress would be taken into consideration with a positive move. And to organized sector workers also, to organized sector workers, to the most important of healthcare workers. So what you need to understand is that to have a better analytical knowledge about which are the areas, or sorry, which are the sections who are being covered under this, is the first, it is the vulnerable section and it is the organized sector. Sorry, when we spoke about vulnerable, they are the one ranging from farmers to women who are having the Jandan accounts, and the organized sector, the workers of the organized sectors are the one who are the frontline workers, that is the healthcare workers. These healthcare workers, the finance ministry has gone ahead with giving the insurance cover for them, because they are the one who would be affected, or who are the one who are dealing with the patients who are having the symptoms or showing the symptoms of coronavirus. So healthcare workers are also taken into consideration, who are the frontline workers fighting to break the transmission chain of the coronavirus. Though those people will get the insurance cover of 50 lakh rupees overall. So the other one is the doubling of the food grain. This is very important, that the finance ministry has also just not thought about the money which would be pumped into the vulnerable sections and the organized sections, but also in regards to the doubling of food grain. How? By allocating offered free privileges to the hungry poor, so that whatever is being left out in the godowns, that is, we know that as per the National Food Security Act, we have to store the food grains, and then it is the duty of the government to make sure that not even a single citizen is without food. Not even a single citizen is without food. So the amount of stocks which are stored in the FCI will be used, and then they could be, they would be given to the hungry poor, wherein actually if it is left out, then it would be eaten by the rodents, that is the rats and the pests. So instead of that, the stocks which are being piled up in the FCI godowns would be removed, and then they would be, what do you say, given it to the, or offered to the people who are hungry poor, so that at this time of the lockdown, it's not only money but also food, that is the food grains also will be provided to them. And then the other point is, they would also provide the free cooking gas refills. To whom? To the underprivileged, who are part of the, this is again very important, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala scheme. So who are part of the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala scheme, they would be given a free cooking gas refills. So again, the government, the finance minister has taken into consideration of all the ambits in the recovery package of 1,70,000 crore rupees. The offer to pay both the employer and employee for in regards to the contribution of the provident fund. So whoever is having or part of the provident fund PF, who are from the very small business enterprises, for them, for the employer, and from the employee contribution, the government will offer to the provident fund, it will contribute to the provident fund. So, and the salary limit could have been set higher at 25,000 per month for the, what do you say, business enterprises, so that they will not be losing, or the shedding of the businesses, or the manufacturing unit or the production unit wouldn't take place. So we have seen the challenges or the kind of, what do you say, the elevating, trying to implement the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, so that the vulnerable sections will be protected both in terms of money and food. Now we will look at few measures wherein you will have a better understanding in regards to the factual questions asked in the preliminary examination, that is prelims 2020. The central government, what are the measures are that central government should now focus towards business. So it is important that now, yes, they have considered the individual sitting at home, that means the one who are part of the informal sector, as they do not have job once it is the 21-day the national or the nation lockdown. So now the next step is to focus on the business that is running out of cash. Yes, definitely, there the businesses, in the businesses, the money circulation is not happening, that means the liquidity is being squeezed. When the liquidity is squeezed, then definitely you will see the defaulters, because this could be the one in the businesses who have taken loans to run the business, or to, what you say, go ahead with making sure that the production takes place, or in turn they have given few jobs, employment they have given to few of the workers. So what happens is, first and foremost, they would be at a default, and then later on the salaries and the statutory commitments whatever they have will also be affected. So it is the need of the central government now to focus towards the businesses, and there are enough ideas to borrow. That means if the central government is unable to pull in the money for all these exigencies or the economic needs, then there is also a way that we can borrow from the US, because the US has come up with a package that is 2 trillion US dollars, not for us but for them. So we can borrow from it. And the next one is in regards to the economic relief package, which should not be delayed. This is very important because the relief package is very important, and it has to be given at the right time. If it is not being given at the right time, so definitely there would be entire economic instability which could arise. So, and this economic part, I mean second phase of economic relief package has to be given within no time, so that the continuity goes on. And we will look at what are the relief packages mentioned or announced by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. So, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, what was the relief part of the relief package is rupees 50 lakh, as we have discussed, insurance cover per health worker to fight the COVID as an insurance scheme. So this is the biggest, what you say, amount which is being given, because these are the one who are the front line, who are fighting without caring for their lives. Relentlessly they are fighting to save the lives of the patients who are having the symptoms of coronavirus. Not only that, they would also, in case in the process of helping them or in the health crisis, they would also catch hold of the, or they would be transmitting, or the virus would transmit even to the health workers. So for that, the government has come up very positively that they would give the insurance of rupees 50 lakh, and 80 crore poor people will get 5 kg wheat or rice and 1 kg preferred pulses for free every month up to 3 months. So this is very important. This could be again a prelims factual or the factual data, wherein you could ask in one of the statements saying that under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, the relief package announced by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has the following options. So it could be, one of the option is 80 crore people will get 5 kg wheat or rice and 1 kg preferred pulses. That is not really important, but for every month, that is for the next 3 months, is important, this one, because he would change this, because we need not worry about 5 kg rice, wheat and preferred pulses, but we need to be worried about this if at all he is framing a question out of this statement. And you have in the package, relief package, 20 crore women Jandan account holders. That means the women who are the account holders of Jandan, the number is 20 crore women are part of it, and they would get rupees 500 per month for the next 3 months. So they are making sure that food is being provided, wheat, rice and pulses. At the same time, money is being provided. Sorry. Money is being provided, minimum of 500 per month. I mean, at least for the next 3 months. And increase in Manrega wage, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. They have increased the wage per day, which was earlier rupees 182. Now they have increased to 202 rupees. So this would benefit almost 13.6 crore families. So 13.62 crores families are dependent on the Manrega in the entire nation. Throughout the country, 13.62 crore families. So this is one of the biggest, what do you say, Employment Guarantee Act, and they have increased from 182 to 202. Again, this is important in regards to the prelims factual data. And there is also an ex gratia of rupees 1000 to 3 crore poor, that is 1000 rupees to 3 crore poor senior citizens, poor widows and then poor disabled. So they have looked into various sections of people, vulnerable sections, women and also the health workers and also the senior citizens, and also the poor widows, and also the disabled. So the government has done a very good exercise and then trying to make sure that most of them or everyone is included in the recovery package. So what is analytical point of view, what you need to, through my class, through my lecture, you need to identify is that, or you would learn is that, we are trying to look at each and every section, that is vulnerable sections, women, farmers, and then senior citizens, poor widows, and then poor disabled. So this is the way you need to look at any issue or an editorial, wherein if a question is asked, which among the following people were part of the recovery package, economic relief package or recovery package by the finance minister. So farmers, women, senior citizens, poor widows, and then poor disabled as of now. So you also have the government is going ahead with the front load rupees 2000 paid to farmers in the first week of April, because under the existing Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana. This is again important for prelims point of view. Under which among the following schemes the government has front loaded rupees 2000 to farmers in the first week of April in regards to the economic relief package? So it is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana. This is again very important for your prelims point of view. To benefit how many farmers? To benefit 8.7 crore farmers. And then the central government has given orders to the state governments to use the buildings and construction workers welfare fund. So they are trying to, what do you say, pull in money from various sectors so that it will be useful for the lockdown purpose. Which could be used for the building and construction workers welfare fund to provide relief to the construction workers. So the one who is involved in the construction workers, the central government is definitely going ahead with the using the fund of the building and construction workers welfare fund. And this is very clearly, what is showing you the picture about the insurance cover and 80 crore poor people, which we were talking about all this. And then in regards to the Manrega, and then in regards to Jandan women account, and then in regards to the ex gratia, that is we are talking about rupees 1000 for the senior citizens, disabled, and also in regards to the widows, and the government to front load, as we spoke about, rupees 2000, which will benefit 8.7 crore farmers under the, this is important, as I said, reiterating once again, Kisan Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana. And this in regards to the giving a free cylinder for the next 3 months, and wage earners below 15,000 per month in the business, as I said, it should be increased so that they will also be considering the PF accounts, wherein both the workers and the, employee and employees contribution will be done for the next, 3 months from the government side itself. And then in regards to the construction, building and construction welfare association welfare fund will be given for the construction workers as a relief, so that everything is covered here. And when you look at this photograph or the picture, you will have the thorough understanding, and make sure that this is like a flow chart, and this will give you the complete understanding about the economic relief package, of the government through the finance ministry. So now, as we know that we have looked at how much money, that is 1,70,000 crore as a relief package under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, targeting the vulnerable sections, farmers, women, healthcare workers, and then providing food grains. And not only that, again the cooking gas refill under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal scheme, and then also contributing the provident fund, and then making sure that they also focus on the businesses, and then if possible they can go ahead with borrowing money from US. I think it will not be necessary. And in regards to again looking into the relief package, health workers has been concentrated insurance scheme, rupees 50 lakh for each health worker as an insurance scheme, and also wheat, rice 5 kgs, I mean or whether it is either of it, and pulses will be given for the next 3 months. And then Jandan accounts for women, rupees 500 per month. Manrega wages have been increased from rupees 182 to 202. And then 1000 would be given to the poor citizens and poor widows and disabled, and then rupees 2000 will be paid to the farmers on or with through the existing Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana. And then again the central government orders the state governments to use the building and construction welfare funds so that it will be used for the relief of the construction workers. So in toto we have looked at this, and any question which would be possible or prospective in framing the prelims question, then you are ready to answer this. So now we will go to the next one, that is the terror attack. So the editorial, in the editorial you have the heading as terror unlimited. So unlimited, where is the terror which is happening unlimited? Yes, definitely it is in Afghanistan. So now if we look at Afghanistan has two governments now. You might be surprised how come even now the governments are running under two governments. I mean Afghanistan, any country running under two governments. Yes, Afghanistan is running under two governments, one led by Ashraf Ghani and the other by Abdullah. Ashraf Ghani was declared the winner of the presidential elections officially, but Abdullah is the one who is disputing the result, and he has formed a rival administration. Please do understand, Ashraf Ghani has been declared winner of the presidential elections which have taken place in the month of September 2019. But Abdullah has disputed. He is not accepting the result wherein the Ashraf Ghani was declared as the president in the presidential elections of 2019 September, and then he has again gone ahead with a rival administration. So parallelly there are two governments which are running in Afghanistan, and this is the area of concern. Why? Because when it is split widely between two of them, then there is always a possibility that there would be someone who would be getting into it and then making sure that they would try to take the advantage of the entire scenario. Yes, it is the one who is trying to take the advantage, not the Taliban this time, but definitely it is the IS. And IS is the one which is trying to enter into Afghanistan, even though Afghanistan government is having lot of worries projected from the Taliban. As such, now again IS is also giving a tough time to the Afghan government, and wherein the IS have their stronghold in the eastern parts of Afghanistan, wherein IS has the stronghold in the eastern parts of the Afghanistan, and they are carrying out various attacks in the past, wherein the targets are for the minorities. That means the minorities who are living in Afghanistan are the targets not only by the IS now but also by the Taliban in the past. That is from 1991 to 2001. We could see the Taliban also trying to target the minorities in the Afghanistan, even though the Afghanistan constitution provides special provisions to the minorities for the protection, but instead of that Taliban have targeted the minorities in Afghanistan, and now again it is the IS which is targeting the minorities in the Afghanistan, and these IS are very strong, or they are concentrated in eastern parts of Afghanistan. And we have seen an attack on March 26, 2020 on the Gurudwara in Kabul, that is in Afghanistan. And the attack has killed at least 25 people, and this attack was on the members of Afghanistan, that is persecuted one was the Sikh minority. So when we are talking about the minority here in this case, it is a Sikh, but earlier also the Sikhs, the minorities were the Sikhs and also the Hindus sometimes, and then the Shias also. So there was an attack in the on a Gurudwara in Kabul, and that attack has killed 25 people. That is mainly the Sikhs who were targeted, and this attempt was by the ISIS. And this attempt, they have gone ahead with the attack. Probably they are trying to portray a message or send a message that they are trying to revive their fortunes in Afghanistan. Please you understand, probably they are sending a message that it is the IS which wants to revive itself or revive its fortunes in Afghanistan, when at a time when Afghanistan is politically divided, there is political instability. And because why political instability? Because Ashraf Ghani running the one government, and then Abdullah going ahead or forming the rival administration. So based on this, as Afghanistan is politically divided, and we also see in that peace process between the Taliban and the US, along with the what do you say Afghanistan government uh, in the midst of it, it has the peace process has been hamstrung. That is, it did not go out very positively. And then aftermath of the peace deal, we could see that Taliban's continuing violence in Afghanistan. So one side to the Afghanistan government or to the Ashraf Ghani, the problem is from the already existing Talibans, and then now the new that is the IS, which is trying to target, not trying, it has attacked the Gurudwara, that is a Sikh minority, which has killed 25 people, wherein they are trying to portray a message that yes, we are here to revive our fortunes even in Afghanistan, because we have seen the ISIS, which was very prominent in the Iraq and Syria, and then later on, due to the efforts of the 60 plus countries, United Nations under it, 60 plus countries, they have effectively flushed out the ISIS from the Iraq and Syria, and then later on they are spread into Europe as disguised migrants, and also they have entered into Pakistan and Afghanistan, and also into Bangladesh and Southeast Asia. Now slowly they are trying to again revamp themselves, and then they wanted to show it that we are again ready, or else we are reviving our fortunes, to make sure that we are also there. We haven't, what you say, been totally wiped out, but we will come out again, making sure that we will have our own strongholds. And now the stronghold what they are trying to is in Afghanistan, that is the eastern parts of Afghanistan. We will look at the background of what is in the happening in the Afghanistan, and little bit of the Taliban. Afghanistan, as we know, it is notorious for violence, because it is always between the Taliban and the government, and then many a times it is the Taliban. If you look at the Afghanistan, many parts of the cities or the Afghanistan is under the control of Taliban, and they do run a parallel government. And this notorious violence is against the minority communities. As I said, it is this Hindu, Sikhs, and other minority groups which are the target by the Taliban. Then and now the recent attack, that is on March 26, the attack by the ISIS onto the Sikh minority on a Gurudwara in Kabul. And we have also seen the Hazara Shias were brutalized by the Taliban regime. That is, this is also a minority community wherein the Taliban's, during the Taliban's regime, their time period, that is, the time period was from 1996 to 2001. So from 1996 to 2001, Even the Hazara Shias were brutalized as the above statement says notorious for violence. Yes, you have violence in Afghanistan, either by Taliban or now by the ISIS. And then we have seen, when we are looking at the background, the resurgence of Taliban, resurgence in the sense the growth of Taliban and the fear of insurgents taking over Kabul. That means there is a possibility that the Taliban might take over the Kabul, that is the capital city of Afghanistan, and they are undermining the constitution. That is what the constitution of Afghanistan says, that the protection to the Hindus, Sikhs, and other minority groups which were earlier spread across the entire Afghanistan, but because of the Taliban regime, the what is it, the violence or the brutalities taken up by the Taliban on the minority communities, we have seen thousands, hundreds and thousands of Hindus and Sikhs and other community have fled the country. So it is very clear that a kind of situation is being created by the Taliban during the 1996-2000, and it is still prevailing now in spite of the US Taliban peace deal which has taken up, not really which had benefited the Afghanistan government, but it was a clear sign that US has pulled out its military from Afghanistan. And in the recent months, we have seen the jihadist group also suffered some setback. Why? Because there was a setbacks to the jihadists from the military operation, both by Afghan and US troops. But because of the pull out of the US military troops from the Afghanistan, as per the US Taliban peace process, there is a possibility that again the jihadists might again bounce back, and then they would go ahead with the many attacks. And now what we have seen is that IS attack on the Gurudwara. Yes, the Taliban US peace deal, which has what is it concluded, but nothing positive, nothing benefit for the Afghanistan people and Afghanistan government. And even the military of Afghanistan is not in a position to handle a double blow, that is from the Taliban and from the, that is jihadis, that is the ISIS. And in some parts, that is the Taliban has also attacked the ISIS. So not only that Afghanistan government is under the pressure, or what do you say, it is constantly trying to suppress the Taliban and ISIS, but there is again that the Taliban and the ISIS, they fight together and against, not together, sorry, they fight against, so that they are making sure that nobody has any kind of what do you say, a high-handedness or a hegemony in the Afghanistan, wherein they would give a tough scenario or a tough fight to the Afghanistan military itself. And they are going ahead with the as a part of insurgents who are tribal Islamic nationalists. So Taliban's are attacking the IS who are the tribal Islamist nationalists. So this is a background, and now we will look at the challenges. What kind of challenges definitely the Afghanistan would face, and what are the challenges now, and what were the reasons, and then how it can be taken into consideration. That means consideration in the sense how best the Afghan government and if possible US mediates, because it is pulling out now, they can try to resolve the position, that is to halt the violence. And then the challenge is the peace agreement which is between, or which has reached between the Taliban and US has effectively failed. Why it has failed effectively? When I am saying effectively the word, because it has failed to bring any halt to the violence. That means in spite of the peace process, we could see immediately, what you say, a couple of days after the peace process between Taliban and US, the Taliban started attacking, or what you say, going ahead with the violence in Afghanistan. So ultimately or effectively, the Taliban US peace agreement has failed. And we know that both the government, that is the government, Afghanistan government, and the insurgents, that is the Taliban's, Afghanistan government and the Taliban's, haven't reached any kind of understanding. They haven't gone ahead with any kind of deals, because not being able to, they are not able to reach any agreement, because they are not having any understanding even on the prisoner swap. So there would be a swap when it is that there would be an agreement or the peace deal which takes place between the Afghanistan government and the Taliban. But here in this case, nothing of that sort is really taking place, and then the prisoner swapping also is not taking place. That means the kind of violence would still go further, and then there is nothing across the table which is materializing between the Afghanistan government and the Taliban. And by attacking the Gurudwar and the adjacent housing complex, the highest, I mean the ISIS or the IS to be more specific, it is the IS, Islamic State, has terrified the country's minorities. Further, once again saying that there could be a potent security threat to all the minorities who are taking shelter or who are the citizens of the Afghanistan. So not only to the what is a minorities, but also it is giving a, or it is terrifying, passing on a terrifying message to the minorities as well as the Afghan authorities that the ISIS would be a potent security threat to the Afghan government or the Afghan authorities. So as I said, that Afghan government or the Afghan authorities are being faced by the Taliban and by the IS. Afghanistan has too many problems. That is what we have seen in our discussion, that is terrorism and then breakdown of the administration, and also in regards to resolve to who should form the government. So the one who have been part of the presidential elections itself are not coming to a conclusion. They themselves, Ashraf Ghani, has formed the government, and then the Abdullah has formed the rival government. So these are the problems which the Afghanistan is facing, and in the midst of it, all this, it is tough, or it is the biggest challenge for the Afghanistan government to provide any kind of security to the citizens of Afghanistan and also to the Afghan minorities. The country's political leadership appears to be concernless. Yes, because in the midst of trying to have form the government and then forming a rival government, it is very clear, it is evident that the political leadership do not have, or they do not, or the project that they are least concerned or less concerned about the issues or the problems which are, what do you say, popping up in Afghanistan, but they are just worried about keeping the power to themselves, or then keeping intact the power. So these are the challenges which are, or which are prevailing now in Afghanistan. If not rectified or countered, then these challenges would emerge more drastically, and it would hit back the government, and also the minorities would be targeted in Afghanistan. And now we will look at the measures. So that once we have looked at the challenges, now we know what is the problem, and again when we focus on the measures, then we will have a complete understanding about the background, what has happened now, and the Taliban, since when they are into, what is say, you have the Taliban regime from 1991 to 2001. From 2001, again post Twin Towers, the US has entered into Afghanistan to go ahead with, what is say, eliminating the one who was held responsible for the Twin Tower attack, and then making sure that they would go ahead with the Afghanistan war, and then was 18 years of the Afghanistan war, but still no constructive result has come up. But still you have the Taliban which has emerged as a powerful to challenge the Afghanistan government. So when we have looked at all this, a very, what do you say, and comprehensive manner we have taken up. So in regards to challenges, when now we look at measures, you will understand it completely. The leadership should realize the magnitude of this crisis. So at this moment, the leaders are not really worried about the problem or the crisis, but they are just worried about who will form the government. But they should come out of that thinking, and they should start thinking or realizing the impact of the crisis, because tomorrow probably it will impact both the people itself or the government itself. Then what could be the situation then? So rather than that, they should realize the magnitude of the crisis and take a united approach. So they should keep all the differences what they have, and then they both, Abdullah and then Ashraf Ghani, have to come together and then handle the situation or the tackle the situation in such a way that they would make sure that the magnitude of the crisis would be lessened, and then they would go ahead with countering the Taliban's and the ISIS effectively, wherein they will protect the minorities in the Afghanistan, that is Hindus, Sikhs, or other minorities. And they should also go ahead with the kickstart of peace process. This is very important because it is not just what you say coming together and then giving a tough fight to the Taliban's. No, if you go ahead with the tit for tat with the Taliban, then it would be again an erupting cause of concern. Thereby they have to go ahead, they have to initiate a peace process, wherein this process will make sure that the peace process with the Taliban to fight the ISIS cells more aggressively. Thereby what will happen is it will at least ensure minimum rights to the citizens guaranteed by the constitution. This is very very important because it could be a question based on the Afghanistan government guaranteeing the constitutional rights, minimum rights for the minorities in Afghanistan. Based on that, there could be a question. Based on that, there could be a question. So we have looked at what has happened, the Gurudwara attack, and then we have looked at a decent background about the Taliban regime, and then the ISIS also. I have explained that how it was earlier very powerful in the Iraq and Syria. Later on, because of the attacks, they have slowly, scattered to Afghanistan and then parts of Pakistan. You also have some kind of presence in the POK and then JNK, and then we see it in the Bangladesh, Southeast Asian countries, that is Indonesia. So this is again once they again there is a possibility they can again come back and then recoup as a major challenge to the world countries. So this all this we have looked at, and we have also looked at measure. Then by this you will make a very good answer if you can try to fix up all the discussion what we had, and then you'll also make sure that you will have a better understanding in regards to how to go ahead with the answer writing if it is asked for the prelims and also for the mains point of view. Prelims factual and then in regards to analytical point of view. Now we will look at the other one, that is safeguard the vulnerable. Safeguard the vulnerable. So who are the vulnerable we will look at and how they have to safeguard, how what reasons uh, they have to be safeguarded we will look at, and then the basic understanding or the basic explanations have been done in previous classes, and also in this class when we are trying to look at the recovery package by the Indian government and for what reasons it was. So almost it is the same, but it is who is talking about is that the International Labour Organization. So this again it is important for the prelims point of view, wherein the question could be not from the finance minister, India's finance minister, what they have gone ahead with the recovery package to the vulnerable section, but based on the ILO, International Labour Organization, the question could be framed. So it is always important that how best we can try to cover various issues so that we would be ready. You would be ready for the prelims 2020 at each sitting in the examination hall, trying to at least in the worst condition eliminate the wrong one so that you would arrive at the best answer in the given question to the given question. So what the ILO estimates that is there are 25 million people who could become unemployed. Why? Because of the loss of workers income, as much as that is the income, workers income is close to 3.5 3.4 trillion US dollars. So ILO is estimating that 25 million people could be unemployed, and this entire once they are unemployed, the loss of workers income could reach up to 3.4 trillion. That means it is really impacting the lot onto the unemployment, that is the loss of jobs. Why? Because we know that it is none other than the reason is the COVID-19 pandemic, which has badly hit the critical health or the critical public health infrastructure or the public health, and it is far beyond the critical health response. So whatever response the countries are taking up, but still they are unable to cope up, unable to actually have some kind of alternatives to fill in the gaps or fill in the economic crisis because of the health crisis what it has erupted because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the later one is in regards to the other, or the what is the consequences of the health crisis is the economic crisis. And once the economic crisis is slowly bubbling up, it is emerging, it is starting, and that is going far beyond, and then far beyond the critical health response. So the need of the hour is the health crisis, and then followed by the economic crisis. And because of the health crisis and the what you say, there are 25 million people who would be unemployed as per ILO, and that would really create lot of impact on the individual, that is unemployed individuals. And all aspects of future will be affected because of the unemployment, because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Impact would be on economic, social, and developmental. So it is very clear that it is not only in regards to health and economic crisis would take place, but also socially we will be affected, development also will be at a standstill, and then from there we have to again move forward, or else we have to inch slowly and inch by inch, wherein it would be very tough. So it is very important that we have to handle the situation. And our response, what the ILO says is, it has to be very, very urgent and coordinated. Not just as urgent and then haphazard manner, every individual or they're going ahead with the what is a urgent response, but it has to be in a coordinated effort, and that urgency and the coordinated effort should be on a global scale. Here very clearly the ILO says that if you do not have a coordinated and an urgent based on the global scale, that is as per the what the entire globe, I mean the entire globe is accepting, that is world is wanting now at this moment, if you're not going that fashion, and it should be at a immediately deliver, so that the vulnerable one is actually getting, or the need what they want, they are getting it. So it has to be urgent, coordinated, both urgency in regards to coordination, it has to be on a global scale. Only then we would be safeguarding. Please do understand and link now. Only then, only when the response is urgent, coordinated manner, then we could safeguard the vulnerable globally. Vulnerable globally. That is very important. So making sure that we are safeguarding the vulnerable, not just as we have discussed, as I have discussed in the first topic, the 1,70,000 crore economic relief package by the finance ministry, that is by India, to the vulnerable sections of the Indians. But here, this article talks about safeguarding the vulnerables across the globe. At a global scale, we have to go ahead. Please do understand. When you are able to understand this article, then your thinking capacity develops from India's point of view to the world's point of view. So, any question given from any part of the world, I mean, part of the world as a topic or an issue taken up by the UPSC in regards to prelims or mains, then you will be ready to go ahead with writing the answer and pick up the best possible answer in the prelims. So it should be global scale, not, yes, definitely every country should go ahead with what is it, trying to protect their own citizens, but at the same time, as per the International Labour Organization, it is the need of the hour that all the countries should again come together and then go ahead with the safeguarding measures which would be on a global scale. That is very, very important. This keyword is very important, global scale. And the first to lose the jobs are those who are employment are already precarious. That means there would be few individuals whose employment or whose jobs are what is not stable, whose jobs are temporary, which could be what anytime they would what is lose their jobs. So first of all, they are the one who would be badly hit. Who are the one we will look at? They are the sales clerks, waiters, kitchen staff, baggage handlers, and cleaners. These are the one who are not sure that their jobs would be what do you say a kind of what is a permanent or a longer period of time. They are precarious. They are very, very, very what do you say volatile. It can be I mean, they would have job today, immediately now, and then next moment they would lose the job. So they are the one, they would lose the jobs first. So it is important at the global scale, as per the ILO, these are the one who have to be taken care, so that these are the one who are vulnerable sections. And many are teetering, that is, they are shaking on the brink of collapse. Definitely it is hitting the economy, and then bring it is at the just just before, I mean, just we are about, I mean, the entire businesses are about to collapse, such as shops and restaurants. And again, in regards to the flights and hotel bookings are all almost cancelled. Businesses have shifted to remote working. That means it could be like they are working from home, or it could be like that the one who are on the field, they are losing the jobs. Because of this is all happening. It's a collapse. The system is going collapsed, or else the job creation system is being collapsed. As we have seen, the shops and restaurant, flights, hotel business are badly hit. So this has to be again taken into consideration. That is what we have to safeguard. The safeguarding has to be universal, and enterprises of all these sizes are already stopped the operations because of the global economy slowdown, or else you can also take it as global economy recession, which is being, what do you say, experienced by all the countries. And then there is a possibility that slowly this would inch towards recession, and then would be very detroiting in regards to the global economy. So this we have to make it very clear. The one who have stopped a bit part of the operations or cut working hours, laid off staff, these are the vulnerable people, wherein we have to make sure that the safeguarding has to be done or taken care to the vulnerables. And the challenges we will look at, so that we will have a thorough understanding about the entire topic we spoke about, that is in regards to the ILO. As per the, what do you say, ILO, 1 in 5 people in the world are eligible for unemployment. Please do understand, unemployment, eligible for unemployment. That means out of 5, 1 is unemployed, eligible for unemployment benefit because he is unemployed. And layoffs spell catastrophe for millions of families, as 1 in 5 is eligible for unemployment benefits. That means as they are unemployed, they are eligible for unemployment benefits, as like in our case, the vulnerable section, wherein they are transferring the money and then making sure that the items are being reached by the schemes taken up by the governments. And the other challenge is the piece rate workers or the daily laborers and the informal traders will be badly hit, or they will suffer because of the entire global productions in various sectors are slowly, are almost shut down now. Because of that, these are the one piece rate, the one who is working as a, what you say, wage, based on the work they get the amount. So those people, daily laborers and informal traders, would be badly hit. These are the ones who have to be protected. And the need to put food on the table will not only increase the spread of virus. That means if you want the food to be on the table, that is at home, then you have to go out and work. When you are forced to go out and work, then there it is definitely that the increase of spread of virus will also take place. So now you have to sit at home, not to make sure that the spread of virus doesn't take place. But if you are sitting at home, the food will not come onto the table. It is a big worrisome. And in the longer term, dramatically, that means it will, what do you say, amplify, it will increase the cycles of poverty and inequality, because of the lockdown, not only in India, across the world, in all the countries, to make sure that the transmission of the virus is cut, so that social distancing is maintained. Because of that, or the result of the maintaining the social distance, what is happening is that the daily wages or the informal sectors or the vulnerable sections are the one who are badly hit. And once they are, it continues, then what will happen is it will amplify. It will increase the cycle of poverty and inequality. This please do understand for mains point of view also, because how this situation is prevailing now, and due to that system what could again further it can engulf into, or it can pop up into. So it will pop up into cycles of poverty and inequality. So this global recession kind of thing which the world is experiencing, which the underdeveloped, developing countries, developed economies, all of them are experiencing, would definitely, if it is not if you are not moving out of it as soon as possible and trying to contain the virus, then it will amplify the cycles of poverty and inequality. This you can mention it in your answer so that it will add value to your answer. So we will look at measure, that is in regards to the, it should focus on the physical and monetary policies, so that they will come up with the pumping of money, and then they will overcome the prolonged recession. That means the kind of economic crisis wherein the entire globe is facing, or various countries are facing, it should not be for a prolonged time, wherein it should be for a very short period of time. For that, the fiscal and monetary policies have to be taken effectively to prevent the situation. And then the government should make sure that people have enough money. How? Making sure that they have money, because when this fiscal and monetary policy is taken care, the liquidity will be pumped into the market and more of money will be with the pockets of the people. And then again, especially in regards to the India, then the 3 weeks, money will come to the people. In regards to the first one we are talking about, and then tailored measures have to be taken for the vulnerable workers, that is self-helped part-time workers who do not qualify for unemployment or health insurance. And then the nation should take special measures to protect the millions of health and care workers. So they are the one who are actually risking their lives, and then they are protecting the one who are been affected by the, or they having symptoms of the coronavirus. And then also in regards to the truck drivers and the one who is involved in the deliver medical equipments, they have to be adequately protected, and the government has taken it. They are making sure that the frontline workers are being given insurance, and then strong domestic measures should take place, so that a global response, that means this strong domestic measure or the multilateral action. Please you understand, the strong domestic measure and then the multilateral action is the keystone for the global response to a global enemy. That means the global enemy, that is the coronavirus, and then post what, the global crisis. These are the one wherein we can make it that this is the best global response to the global economy. The global economy is the, global enemy is the crisis of the, the crisis of the health crisis and the economic crisis. And in toto, in the final, the principle said, that is the ILO's constitution, what it says is that, poverty anywhere remains threat to prosperity everywhere. Probably you never know, based on the health crisis, economic crisis which is prevailing across the world in all the countries, UPSC in mains could phrase a sentence, and then you need to understand why they are faced and how you need to answer to that. If the statement or the question is this statement itself, if you there is a possibility, if I'm saying if there is a possibility of UPSC trying to take this itself, that is poverty anywhere remains a threat to prosperity everywhere, explain or discuss. Then you can link it with what is happening across the world, and then the article which talks about safeguarding the vulnerable amongst us. That is what the ILO is talking about, so that you will have a solid information which is analytical, which will be useful for the prelims and also for the mains. So I hope the entire discussion has been a very informative for prelims and also for the mains. So make sure that you like the video, subscribe the video and hit the bell button for the future notification when you're viewing the video, that is Let's Crack UPSC CSE. And you can also go ahead with subscribing the Unacademy. By using my code SBT, you will get 10% discount, that is upon the actual price. When you use my code, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala 10, you would get 10% discount. So go ahead with subscribing and take the maximum from the Unacademy classes. So I hope everything was informative and knowledgeable in this session. Thank you, and then see you tomorrow at 7 p.m.